So we're back at the queen rearing apiary again, same morning, a different video. This time we've got a 6-frame national nuke that's exploding across all 6 frames, lots of brood, lots of eggs, and we need to get this into a full-size hive. And we've had a few questions about how late can you leave it before it's too late in the season to actually transfer a colony over into a full-size hive. So we thought we'd just give it an experiment here and not only move this colony across, but we'll also checkerboard them and give them a good feed, and hopefully they'll have enough resources in terms of bees and food to draw all of those frames and prepare themselves for the winter ahead. So we've got our hive in front of us here. National hive. I've got 5 or 6 spare frames of foundation in that hive. We've got our feeder, our green Maysmore jumbo feeder. We've got some food, which is the Appy Mix food in the front, and we've got our hive here. So what I'm actually going to do is just swap these two around and bring the hive over to this side to make it easier for me to inspect. This hive has actually got 2 entrances at the moment because it was a 3-frame nuke with the divider down the middle. So it'll be a little bit awkward for the bees to work out exactly where the entrance is to start with, but they'll soon work it all out. They'll get their pheromones moving through the new hive, and we're going to point this hive forwards so that I can stand here and inspect them in relative comfort. So I'm just going to crack on with this, move these bees around, and we'll show you what we're doing as we move ahead. So it's quite a heavy box. I'm just going to pop this in between all of these other boxes, and then I can slide this one across. It's quite empty at the moment, and then we can dismantle it and get things set up. So there's our feeder, our Appy Mix food, and we're going to give them a really good feed to make sure that they've got lots of resources in terms of the food that they need. And let's just move that onto the floor, because then I can pop the nuke box on top of the feeder here. And now I can reach across. I have smoked them. I can reach across and take the frames out and pop them into the new hive. So I've got 6 frames of foundation here ready to go. Just give them a little bit of smoke. Now the normal process would be to keep all of these frames exactly as they are, but what we're going to do is to checkerboard them. Now that means that we take 1 frame from the nuke box and sandwich it between 2 frames of foundation. And of course I'm going to be looking for the queen. So this frame's got lots of eggs, and you can see there's lots of brood ready to emerge. So I have a frame of foundation against the side. So we've just moved the camera position so that we can show this a little bit more easily. So frame of foundation goes in at the far edge. Then we have a frame with eggs and brood in all stages and food. Then we have another frame of foundation, and we just move through the brood box of the nuke, taking 1 frame from the nuke box, checking it for the queen of course, and then another frame of foundation, and we'll just continue to do this process all the way through. Again, we have eggs and brood and also lots of food stores. Bees have done really well. Then another frame of foundation, And these bees have been quite well behaved so far. Lots more brood. It's the odd wasp trying to get a free meal. Haven't seen the queen yet, but that's not a problem. We've got another frame of foundation, and you can see how this checkerboard, as they call it, works out. So we've got the lighter coloured new frames coming in. Again, more eggs and brood. Lots of brood in all stages. Still no sign of the queen. I think the queen in this colony is actually quite a dark queen. So then we've got another frame of foundation, and then another frame, and the final frame in fact from the nuke box. So let's see if in fact we have the queen on this frame, which would be great, but again I don't see her. Just slide this in very gently at the end. Just use a little bit of smoke just to move the bees away from this section here, because I don't want to crush any bees. And there we have our checkerboard pattern. So the next thing to do is to just have a look in the box to see if in fact the queen is running around on the side. Lots of bees with pale cream pollen, and that's likely to be some Himalayan balsam, but I can't see the queen, so I'm going to assume that I've already placed her into the new hive, and we'll just turn this around and give it a good shake across the hive corner to corner to just get all the bees out, and then another look. I can't see the queen in here. And then the important thing is to just move the original poly box, the nuke box, away. So we'll just take that away from our position so that the bees are not attracted to it. So we've got our checkerboard pattern. Everything's a little bit confused now. The bees are kind of wondering where on earth they are. We get the crime board on, and then we can pop the feeder on top of the crime board. I always have a quick look to make sure that the bee escape holes in the crime board line up with the way that this jumbo feeder is set up, so that when I scoop some syrup and pour it down the middle, it runs almost directly into that porter bee escape hole, and the bees can get straight onto it. So we'll just get some syrup. So this is the Appy Mix syrup with the added vitamins and amino acids, which the bees this season have taken to really well. I've been really pleased with the way they've reacted to it, and it seems to have done them really well. So we'll get lots of syrup in here, because they're going to need a lot of resources to be able to draw all of that comb quickly. So that's about half a jerry can of feed, so about 7 kilos of sugar syrup. And the wasps are already buzzing around that. I'll just get a sponge just to wipe the top away. A little bit of spillage. So we'll just wipe that. And then the important thing is to make sure that the feeder sits squarely and snugly on top of the crown board, because if you leave it to one side, and you don't notice it, then you're going to get robbed out very, very quickly. So we'll just give this a good wash, remove all of that sugar syrup, and then we can get the roof on. So we're going to leave them now to settle down. It's going to be very confusing for them. Once they establish the new entrance, get the pheromones moving around, they'll hopefully get onto that sugar syrup very, very quickly, and then we can leave them to it. We'll come back in a week's time and record another video and just show you how well they're doing with this checkerboard method, and to see whether or not it's actually worked, or whether in fact it's too late in the season for them to be able to cope with it. So if you have any questions, pop them beneath the video and we'll catch up next time. Thanks for watching.